All right, wonderful. Well, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. I believe it's Wednesday. Sorry we're a bit late. I had a couple technical difficulties, but we're here tonight with our guest, Rhysa, and I'm super excited to have her come in and speak with us. She has a lot of knowledge and a lot of value that she is going to share with us tonight in her profession of, feeling more safe basically in your body, but then to experience abundance in your life. So I want to welcome you again. Thank you for making time to come in and speak with us tonight, Rhysa.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to dive in for today.
Absolutely. No, I am so excited, especially after watching your master class from this morning.
Mhm.
That was so informative. Um, so watching the class, I have a little bit of information on how you got into this space, but I know no one else in the group does know that. So would you like to share a little bit about how you're in the space that you're in right now?
Yeah. So, really, my journey started back when I was 9 years old. So much of my health and fitness journey I can trace back to that moment. And same thing with what I do now, and doing a lot of regulation work around money. And it was my mom had cancer. And thankfully, she's alive and well. She's in remission. She's doing great. But what I didn't realize at the time was how much trauma my body had stored. And that started me down the road of chronic illnesses. I had hypothyroidism, fibromyalgia, endometriosis, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, like all of the things. And for so long, I just thought that's just how it was. And I struggled to lose weight and didn't really fully understand why. I did all of the typical things of I worked out more. I was working out sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. I was eating less and still not losing weight and just couldn't understand why. And it wasn't until I started processing trauma and really digging into that all of a sudden, all of my symptoms started going away. That most of what I was experiencing was actually my body storing all of that trauma I had experienced. And now I haven't had any issues with my fibromyalgia in over a year. My thyroid is back on track. I'm able to lose weight. I feel great. Like my energy is back. My sex drive is back. My hormones are back to being regulated, like all of those things. And it was the tipping point for me was processing all of my childhood experiences. And now, same thing with money as a business owner on that side, I realized I was stuck very similarly how I was with health and fitness around money. And I use the exact same tools that I use for my health and fitness with money. And now that's really what I do is I work with leaders and business owners on how to work through those blocks when you do get stuck. Because especially around money and those kind of things, it's never about money. When I was still a health and fitness coach, my clients not being able to lose weight, it was not about losing weight. It was about something deeper. And as soon as we got to the root of that, we started moving forward and making progress.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. And it's so true. And it, like you said, it applies to all areas. If we don't deal with the root cause of things, it spills over, and it can spill over for decades, well, all your life if you don't address it.
Yeah, I was living in that for 22 years.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, yep, I have all the t-shirts. I made the t-shirts, I wrote the t-shirts, I drove that struggle bus for a very long time. And yeah, like you just said, is we often think it's our mindset.
Hmm.
And mindset is 20%. It is the literally tip of the iceberg because what's underneath that, the 80%, is what is happening in our nervous system. Because our nervous system is what dictates every thought, feeling, action, reaction, behavior that we've ever had. So if you want to change your thoughts, if you want to change your feelings, if you want to change your actions, we have to start with the root. Because if we change that, we automatically change our thought patterns.
Right. Yeah, that was something you said that I thought was super interesting was, it's not the, like a lot of people beat themselves up because they don't have the mindset, they don't have the willpower, but it's often not that's an issue.
No, especially, yeah, and for me, just to like help connect the dots is I had an experience this weekend where I realized I'd been still living in kind of a similar pattern of every time I got close to meeting my goals or I would start seeing progress, I would abandon the coach, the mentor, the plan because I had a childhood experience that I felt abandoned. I was not abandoned, but my body had felt like that. And it was so painful that every time things started to work and see progress, I would abandon them before they could abandon me.
Mhm.
And that was the cycle. And I see so often this comes up in business owners, this comes up with health and fitness clients. And so like, they're doing great. And then all of a sudden it's like, they just like leave. They're like on a whole different track. And it's like, what just happened? And often it's our bodies responding to something that didn't feel safe internally. That has nothing to do with your willpower, has nothing to do with you not having motivation. Most people are motivated. They know what they need to do. They want to do it. They want to live that healthy lifestyle. They want to have more money. They want to have abundance. And yet something in their body is saying, actually, you reaching your goals doesn't feel safe.
Right.
You making more money doesn't feel safe. And that's the part we have to fix, because once we fix that, everything else comes.
Right. Yeah, no, that is such a good point. And our nervous system doesn't really give a shit about us. It just wants to keep us alive.
Yeah, well, and I like, here's how I kind of think of the nervous system. It has two parts. One is to keep us alive, like you said, it keeps our lungs going, our heart beating, our brain functioning. But the second thing is really to protect us.
Yeah, exactly.
It is the strongest form of unconditional love on this planet. Our bodies love us so much that it doesn't want us to feel pain. And sometimes it's the pain of the unknown. And if you're trying to reach a health and fitness goal, and maybe you haven't reached that yet, your goal weight, your goal clothing size, your dream body, that feels unknown to your body, and anything that feels unknown can feel unsafe. And then when we feel unsafe, our body sends out fear, doubt, anxiety, imposter syndrome, doubt, like all of the, you can't do it, you're not ready, you're not capable, you're not going to be able to like sustain this. All of those thoughts creep in to try and pull us back to where we feel safe. Because even if we're like, I'm not happy in how my body looks right now, how much money I'm making right now, our body's like, we get that, but we at least know what that feels like. It feels safe here. So we're going to like drag you back to keep you here. Which is actually a really amazing thing if you think about it, how much love our body shows us. But often those protections also become the blocks. And that's what we have to get through. How do we identify when it's a block? And then how do we work through that?
Right. No, that's such a good point. So how would someone go about working through that?
Yeah. So I kind of think of it, there's kind of several parts to it, kind of like a health and fitness journey, a money journey. They all have different parts. So the first part is to identify where the block is. Because if we don't know where the block is, we can't go in and fix the block, right? It's kind of the same. If you're like, I'm struggling to lose weight, we can't just give you a plan. We have to figure out, well, why isn't what you're currently doing, why is that not working?
Mm-hmm.
And so when it comes to emotions and the nervous system, I created a color system because I love it. It's so easy. You can use it. Doesn't matter. I've taught this to 2-year-olds and I've taught this to like 80-year-olds. So it's everything you need to know in 5 colors: green, red, yellow, blue, and purple. That's all you need to know about the nervous system. So green, this is when things are easy. Building a new habits, easy. You're happy, you're connected with people. Things are just flowing. This is when like money is flowing into us. And it's just like, oh, this feels so great. This feels so easy. And then I think most people probably have heard of fight or flight before. But I break that into 2, red and yellow. So red is when you're really angry. You're like, I've snapped. I want to hit, I want to kick. I want to attack, or I may even have the urge to run away. Our body is like, there's a bear 2 feet behind you and it's going to like attack you. We respond the same way. Now, obviously most of us probably don't have a bear attacking us, but things in our life, that email from work, like we need to talk, that like feeling, our body responds as if we're being attacked.
Right.
Versus yellow, this is like nervous, anxiety, stress, frustration, agitation. It's the bear's like 2 miles behind you. You have time if you needed to run away, but you're like still kind of on high alert. And then we have purple. This is when you feel like you're just in a fog. You feel really disconnected, depressed. It's hard to think, it's hard to feel, it's hard to communicate how you're feeling to other people. This is often where I see people are like, I can't even get up off the couch. They're like, I'm not a depressed person, but I just can't seem to get started. Your body is protecting you, saying whatever you have going on is so overwhelming. It's so big. It's so painful. We don't want you to feel anything.
Mm.
And then we have blue. This is a mix. So this is also a state of freeze. So if anyone's heard of this, this is freeze. It's a mix of yellow and purple. I want to, but I can't. I'm excited, but it feels like it's a lot. I see a lot of people get stuck here because they're like, I want to go start working out. I want to go to the gym, but they're like, it feels like a lot. And so I don't do anything. You literally feel frozen. This can happen in business. I have this amazing idea, this new program, this new thing. I want to do it. That's too big.
Mhm.
I don't even know where to get started. And so we don't move. We don't take action. So that would be the first step. Identify where you kind of fall on that spectrum. So again, this could be around money, and we could break that up into different parts. What state are you in when you ask for money, when you receive money, when you invest money? So many people, we have a block when we go to invest in ourselves because it doesn't feel safe. And so the fears, is this going to work for me? The doubts, I invested in myself last time and it didn't work out. So I'm probably not going to see any different, results this time. All of that is just trying to protect you. But if it's the block that is keeping you from reaching those dream goals, that dream body, that dream income, you get to work on how do you feel safe to take that next step so you can feel safe. Because again, the block is never about what you think the block is. A money block is not about money. It's not. It's about something you've internalized. Losing weight is not about losing weight. It is something you have internalized. So that would be the first step that I would recommend for people is kind of figure out where you fall on that spectrum.
Right. No, that's really cool to break it down like that. I've never heard it explained like that. And I've worked with a lot of different mentors and therapists and coaches, and but that's really cool.
Yeah.
So if someone was in one of those states, are steps to get out of those states the same, or do they vary based on the state you're in?
Oh, good question. I love this question. So it's going to change because what you do in one state, you're not going to probably do in the other state. So here's like one of my favorite examples. We've all probably heard about deep breathing, and we've heard this as a tool when you're like having emotions to deep breathe. But I want to put this into context. So red, this is when you're really angry. Bear 2 feet behind you. It's about to attack you. Would you ever stop in that moment to breathe? If that was actually happening, a bear is about to attack you, would you go, I should really journal right now about how I'm feeling, or maybe I should just meditate, take some deep breath? Like, no, right? And yet, how many times have we all been told when you're really angry, you should breathe, but you're actually going to feel worse. Same thing if you're in purple and that like shutdown, I can't even get up off the couch. It feels too hard. Your body's already slowed your breathing down. So if you try and do deep breathing in that state, you shut your body down even more. So this is why it's so important, one, to know what state you're in. So then you have the right tools to get you out, to get you back into that green where things are fun and easy and you can build in new habits. So that is why it's a multi-step system. You have to know where you're starting from, and then you can build in the tools.
Right. Yeah, no, that's so cool because you're right. If you're in the red, you're not going to stop and journal. If you're not going to breathe, you need to find an alternate outlet to express that.
Yeah. So some recommendations to like get you started with tools for anyone who's listening is if you're in red, if you're in the angry, you need to move your body. This is why people go and punch walls, they punch their pillow, is because they have all of this like trapped energy and they're releasing it. This is why when people are like, I go work out and I feel better after, because they moved their body. So if you are in red, don't breathe, don't try and calm down right away. Actually go, like, that's a good time to go punch a pillow. One of my favorites is I'll go to the dollar store and get like glass plates, and I put them in a pillowcase, and I go out to my garage and I just beat it with a hammer. It feels amazing. It feels so good. I release all of that pent up energy.
Right.
And then I can get back into that yellow state. And that's when I can do deep breathing and journaling and meditation, more of those calming techniques to get myself back into green.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
I used to do boxing. And, and when I was in that state, it felt like the best thing in the world, but I haven't been able to do that lately.
Yeah. Yeah. Boxing is fantastic, especially if you're in red. Oh, it's so amazing. So yeah, move your body first.
Yes.
Again, yellow, those are great when you have already, like most of us kind of recognize the tools for yellow. It's the calming tools, the candles, the lavender, going for a walk, calling a friend, having a bubble bath. And tools, here's a misconception I see a lot about tools. People think that they need to take a long time. Like, I don't have time for a 30-minute bubble bath or a 30-minute walk. Tools can be as little as 3 seconds. I have a spray on my desk. So if I'm feeling a little like, little anxious, a little nervous about something, I spray it, smell it, it drops me back in, and I calm down. That took me 3 seconds.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It doesn't have to be a long time.
Right.
Into another one, I like pressure. I can like squeeze my hands, even on the Zoom call. I could be under the desk, squeezing my hands, squeezing my legs together. And that deep pressure helps my body say, hey, it's safe. The bear's not chasing you. You can calm down. And you don't even see me doing it.
Right.
Which is cool. So again, just know that it doesn't have to take a long time. And then if you're in purple in the shutdown, I highly recommend coming out of that slowly. So for most people, again, if you're like, I can't even get up off the couch, you're not like gonna go for a run. Your body's gonna be like, that's too much. Let's start a little smaller. So that's when you like start with like really gentle head movements and just trying to bring like awareness back into your body, up and down. You could even do some like light tapping, different pressure on your body. You're just trying to get back to being more present, more engaged in your system. And then as you're doing that, then you might want to get up and move and walk around or go get some sunlight or those kind of things. But oftentimes a lot of people try and do too much when they're in purple. And then your body's like, oh, that's even more overwhelming. And now I feel even more shut down. So, and then if you're in blue, that kind of mixed state, I often see for most people is you kind of start with your purple toolbox because most of the times you feel a little bit overwhelmed. And then you use those tools and you actually might feel your anxiety increase a little bit. You kind of go into that yellow and then you use your yellow tools to bring you back into green. So that one's kind of a multi-step thing.
Right.
But
that's okay.
Yeah. So that would be what I would recommend for anyone, whether you are on a health and fitness journey and you recognize these blocks, a money journey, and you recognize these blocks, maybe you're like, I'm ready to hire that coach, but there's something going like, oh, that doesn't feel safe. Recognize what state are you in? And then work on building in some tools that actually match that state to get you back into regulation, because that's when you make the best decisions. It's when you're most productive. It's when you're able to take that next step. And not from a place of like fear. I think a lot of times right now in the industry, it's a lot of you should want to throw up when you invest in yourself. And that's not the case. You should never want to throw up. That is a sign you're actually dysregulated and you're not probably in a place to invest. It can be a little like, oh, this is stretching me, but you should feel really good and calm and confident when you make those decisions. And that's what helps get you there when you're in the state to feel calm and confident.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I just had a conversation with a new client, Monday it was, and I mean, she's brand new. Monday was her start day, but yeah, she was like, I'm kind of really nervous because everything else I've tried hasn't worked, and we're spending a lot of money. And I was like, thanks for sharing that. That's fantastic. But we're a different program, and so your experience is going to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know I've had clients like that too. They're like, I'm nervous. And it's like, yeah, that's okay. But we're going to bring you back into that state of calm. And that's when we're actually going to see results. And when you're going to see results is when we can get you there. And then we recognize when you do have the overwhelm, because I see this, and you probably have seen this too, is we start on a plan and I could build you the most beautiful plan in the world. Beautiful. And then you start on it and you're like, I'm doing great. And then all of a sudden we add one extra step. Maybe we add like 5 ounces of water to the plan for the week. And you're like, whoa, that was too much.
Right. Oh,
then
yeah.
you're like, I can't do any of the plan because now I'm so overwhelmed. But if we recognize that, we bring you back, get you back into regulation, then you're like, it's no big deal. 5 ounces, easy.
Right. Yeah, I think a huge part of that, whether, like you said, it's in fitness or in money, a huge part of that for the client is recognizing, that they are feeling this way and helping them to have some tools to deal with the way that they're feeling, but also giving them permission to feel like it's okay to
It's
feel.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have these emotions and feelings. We all don't get to be in green every single day, all day long. I would love to tell you that that's the case. It's not. I still find myself, some days I'm in a little bit of yellow, and some days I kind of fluctuate between states. Some days I find I'm in one state more than the other, but it's just recognizing that and then having compassion of like, it's just my body trying to protect me. Instead of like, oh, my body's fighting against me. No, it's loving you so much. And when you get to see it from that kind of lens and that perspective, then it's like, oh, now we get to work together. Now we're on the same side. I just need to show my body it's safe, and then we get to move.
Right. Such an excellent point. I did have a chance, and I peeked on Facebook. I have to do it from my phone because I can never bring it up from the computer. I don't know if you have the same problem. Okay.
All the time, all the time. Yep.
I'm feeling so bad now. We have some viewers and they are liking the video, but we don't have any questions.
Okay.
So I know that you have some other obligations this evening, so we can go ahead and wrap things up. I think you shared, something that's super valuable. I think those tools are something that's really valuable, that people can absolutely start to apply right away if they so desire to. So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. And too, I'm not sure if I'm in your group. I think I am. If people do have questions, if you're catching this on the replay, feel free to drop them in there, and then, Clarissa can answer, or she can shoot them my way. And to always feel free, if you want to learn more, you can check out my Instagram page at Regulate with Rhysa. I even have a free quiz on there that you can jump on, you can take, and it will help you identify what your primary state is and help you build a toolbox. So if you're looking for more, if you're like, oh, that's me, head over to my Instagram page and learn some more tools for yourself.
That's awesome. Thank you. I was going to ask you where they could find you if they had additional questions.
Oh.
So thank you.
I need you to do it.
Yeah, you did. That's awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. I really appreciate it. For those of you that are watching inside the group, I hope that you found some value here tonight. And like Rhysa said, if you have questions, just feel free to reach out. She's more than happy to answer those for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, I'm so excited to share this with everyone. And I hope some of you guys walk away with one little golden nugget that helps you move forward.
Right. Yes, I'm sure they will. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Have a wonderful night. And
Thanks.
to all of our group, have a wonderful night. All right. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.